Hey, thanks for the response video. I just wanted to just add an additional, I guess you could say, dimension to the discussion to sort of, I guess, take it to another level. So we were talking about maps and how different teachers and gurus create maps in order to help guide people um, to see different aspects of consciousness, of reality, of the territory, so to speak, in that analogy. And despite that, people choose to use maps differently. They choose to use words differently. There are people who tend to use words that are more vague, I guess you could say. And then there are people who use words that are much more structured and also, I guess you could say, logical. It's almost like, people interpret and create maps. Some are like complex mathematical diagrams, and others are more like poetic, um, poetry and prose. Uh, the more artistic, expressive side and the more logical, analytical side. Both of them can point to the same sort of thing. So, just to go into that, I guess, I mean, to name a few authors, I think we can see on this spectrum. There's, people like Alan Watts who are sort of in the middle. He's good with playful analogies and you know pointing the finger at the moon sort of thing. Um, and then you have people who are a little bit more on the logical analytical side, like Wilbur, for instance. I mean, I just jotted down my notes. He's logical and very hyper structuring, or in other words, his diagrams. I mean, they go all out. They go levels, lines, streams, states, waves. I mean, all of this stuff. I mean, it's a little daunting at times, but for the analytical minded, it may be very accessible, more so than the more poetic side, such as Rumi or any other kind of mystic poet or something to that extent. Um, my question to you is, do you think that becoming too much of either side is is it a real problem, or is it just sort of like, look, there are different types. There's a whole spectrum, and people fall into different aspects of this spectrum, and including Wilbur. So, I guess to you personally, and I guess a question for everybody, is Wilbur's work, um, um, does his hyperstructuring get in the way of his teaching, or does it assist his teaching? I guess that's the general question. What works for you? And which also raises the question, and I guess the demand for a more diverse and broad, I guess you could say, I guess, variety of integral science and integral expressions. And I think we're starting to get that. And if we really look at different aspects of integral, we can kind of see that maybe a lot of people are doing this. That maybe Wilbur may be too sharp to criticize, or just something to that extent. So I guess I'm asking you: do you think Wilbur is a little too analytical? I think it can get in the way at times because getting once again, if your map is extremely complex, like a mathematical diagram, you miss out on the more creative, flowing, organic aspects to what you're talking about, to the territory. And I feel like Wilbur's maps tend to do that a little much, but I think I can overlook that because they're very, I guess you could say they're very helpful, and they're very in depth. I mean, if you want a full analysis of everything, then Wilbur is probably the way to go. So yeah, so just asking for your thoughts about this. If you'd like to comment, we have a good discussion going, and yeah, hope to hear from you.